Ooh, arguments. Ooh, arguments. Ooh, arguments. Ooh, arguments.
Logically valid arguments.
Logically valid arguments.
Logically valid arguments are arguments which premises that support the conclusion, typically leading to the conclusion in a sync way. Sound arguments. Sound arguments are true premises that lead to the conclusions which are true. Example 1. Premise 1. Obama was a former president. Premise 2. All presidents ran the United States. Conclusion, therefore Obama ran the United States. This would be a sound argument because premise 1 shows that Obama was a former president, which is factual. Premise 2 says that all presidents ran the United States, which is true as well because they have the power and the figure of being in the government system of the United States. Therefore, the conclusion will be true because Obama was a former president and he also ran the United States. This will be a sound argument.
Okay, so for that 3, we have okay, so for permissible, it's just basically being you're able to. Able to. An example would be walking. Walking is morally permissible because you're able to walk. Obligatory, meaning you're required to. Example, driving with a seatbelt. Required seatbelt. And then finally we have wrong. Wrong, meaning that you're not supposed to do it. Example, killing someone. Boom.
So in our premise 1, we have homosexuality is a mental disorder. Our premise 2 ended up being all mental disorders are wrong. And then our conclusion was therefore homosexuality is wrong. All right? So it's a logically valid argument because our premise 1 and our premise 2 leads to our conclusion. If homosexuality is a mental disorder, all mental disorders are wrong, therefore homosexuality is wrong. So it's logically valid. However, our premise 1 reads homosexuality is a mental disorder. Now, that has not been scientifically proven. Therefore, this is a false premise, making it an unsound argument. Two reads, all mental disorders are wrong. That also has not been proven that all mental disorders are wrong because, mental disorders come in bipolar depression, stuff like that. Those mental disorders have not been categorized as wrong. So this is another false premise, leading to another false conclusion, making this yet again an unsound argument.
Okay, so for our first premise, it states that homosexuality produces mental problems and imbalances. What we need to do is we need to find this second premise. And for our conclusion, it says, therefore, homosexuality is wrong. So the premise that we came up with, the second premise is, anything that produces mental problems is wrong. Now, looking back at this, you can say that this argument is valid, but is it sound? So let's go back and explain our premises. So it says, the first premise states that homosexuality produces mental problems and imbalances. See, so for this one, it can be seen as it depends because homosexuality can produce mental problems and imbalances, but that's not the only factor that homosexuality can produce. Like other factors such as your family or the way society views one person can play into why you have mental problems because of homosexuality. So looking at our second one, we can label this one as it depends. And then anything that produces mental problems is wrong. This is false because not everything that produces mental problems is wrong. So for instance, an example would be I would say like college. College produces mental problems, but that does not make college wrong. It just lets us know that college is hard. So college would be one. And then also family could be another. Ooh, I spelled that wrong. Family. And society. So we can rule this one as false. So for the last one, it says, therefore, homosexuality is wrong. We already know that is false. Homosexuality is not wrong. And that's how you prove to see if the argument is logically valid and sound.
So the argument is homosexuals are the targets of hate crimes. And any crime that targets a group is wrong. Therefore, homosexuality is wrong. Our argument will be logically valid because this premises follows to the conclusion. Any crimes and wrong. Homosexual targets hate crimes, and premise 2 shows that any crime, and the conclusion presents that it's wrong, also shown in premise 2, which follows. Our argument will be unsound because homosexuals, the first premise says that homosexuals are targets of hate crimes, which can be true depending. There's no fact upon that, but it depends on certain groups. So it is not factual. And the premise 2 shows that any crime that targets a group is wrong. This is also depends because if the hate crime the crime presents itself to a group that is trying to kill a bunch of innocent people and the government tries to kill that group for doing it, then the crime will be considered wrong. The crime will be considered justful. Therefore, it depends on the situation, leading to our conclusion that homosexuality is wrong, which is incorrect.